Y'all are starting to make my job too easy. I just got out of a custody hearing that I won in basically 10 minutes. And I was able to achieve this all because of just one sentence. One sentence stated by the child's mother. Well, Lauren, what's going on? I thought you never asked. I'm representing a father in a custody case. The couple used to be together, not together anymore. Once they broke up, they had a court order put in place. The child lived with mom. Dad has his visitation rights.
Right.
Note that I was not the attorney on the original custody case. So a year or so goes by after that original case, and dad hires me because he's saying that mom is infringing on his rights as a father. She's not following the order. She's not letting him see his child. And since, in his words, she's alienating the child from him, that is not in the child's best interest. It is in the child's best interest for the child to have both parents in their life. So he's trying to tell the court the child should be with me because I wouldn't do this to the mother. She'll be able to be involved. The child should be with me, and she can't make good decisions. Also, fun fact, dad moved out of state after the breakup. They don't live very far apart, maybe like a 5-hour drive, but important fact that child lives in Texas with mom, dad doesn't. So after we filed the case, mom is starting to act right again because she knows we're heading to court. So dad has been seeing the child.
Right.
Well, during the visitation, dad finds an air tag in the child's shoe. He gets rid of it. Also, please note that it is Texas law that if there is a pending family law case, no matter if that's divorce, custody, etc., you cannot track a child or party while that case is pending. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm here putting y'all up on game for free. There's a lot of laws in Texas that people don't agree with. Blame your legislators. They create the laws. Get out and vote. Well, mom goes to check the location of the AirTag and she realizes the AirTag has been disabled. It's off. And this is the one sentence that mom said that allowed me so effortlessly to win my hearing. She sends dad's a voice text and says if he does not cut that tracker back on so she can see where her child is, then she was going to call her brother to come pow him. And there's going to be some slow singing and flower bringing. So here I am in court, just bring on in my little portable speaker, cut it up to the max volume, and just like that, a simple play button, and the hearing was over. The judge looked at her after giving her some very choice words, told her she might want to go pack her child's bag so that the child doesn't have to start completely over from scratch because he will be moving in with dad.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just a moment of silence. Just a moment of silence. Wow.
Now, this is probably one of the worst days of her life, and it didn't help that she didn't have a great attorney because there is no way in hell I would have had that be my client and that happen because I gave her lawyer the recording. If roles were reversed and I was representing mom and he was representing dad, the moment I would have heard that recording, I would have done a settlement offer and be like, let's work this out. Let's come together because I wouldn't have wanted what just happened to happen. Now look, you've lost your child. I don't want to see this happen to any of my followers. I love all 800,000 plus of you if you're watching on TikTok. I don't want this to be you. So what did we learn from this? Drop down in the comments and let me know, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Wonderful story. What a great story. Also, shout out to Lauren the lawyer. If you guys want to hear some legal information, if you're dealing with custody battles and want advice particularly geared towards men, me and her had a wonderful conversation where she's giving men advice on particularly that. Fathers, right? Tips. Join Brew Brothers. And for men who have the prenup guide at fathershaverights.com, that will also be included in there as bonus content. Let's talk about the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. Engaged and soon to be married men, hiring the wrong lawyer can leave you with an overpriced, unenforceable prenup. Avoid the trap. Inside my step-by-step guide at fathershaverights.com, renowned attorneys James Sexton and the lead attorney lay out the exact questions to ask, red flags to spot, and proven steps to hiring the perfect prenup lawyer. The guide itself costs only a couple of dinner dates, far less than a single billable hour. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section, lock in your guide, and join the hundreds of men securing their marriages the right way. Now, of course, we got to get to the comments. Now, what do you guys think is going on in the comment section? Do you think they're saying that's a criminal offense and women shouldn't break the law? Or do you think a lot of these chicks are more mad that she actually got caught? Probably more mad that she actually got caught. The same way that if my audience probably was viewing a situation, this happens with every audience, right? They will tend to root for the person who is even in the wrong in situations. Not everybody, but in this situation, of course, she has a largely female audience, and they're saying things like never leave proof. And to the woman who says never leave proof, someone responded back and says, or just be a good human, because some men don't go to court when they are threatened. Again, obviously, not every woman in the comment section is rooting for the woman in that situation, like this lady who says, I love it. Congratulations to dad. Because this isn't a situation where somebody's like worried about their child and they feel like their child is unsafe. No. You're obviously the unsafe one because you're threatening to send people to come and end life. That's simply crazy. Somebody else who says, y'all saying hide the AirTag better is part of the problem. There's another woman, shout out to her. She goes on to say, she just said it was against the law. So it's even worse if you hide it and if the court discovers you knew better. Any decision made as a result can be heavier than if you just did what was right. Somebody responded back and says, you can see who the vindictive ones are. Another person who says, plus you get notifications on Android or Apple that there is an AirTag in the vicinity, so he would know no matter what. The thing about people who act before they think is they are their own worst enemy. Chances are she let her emotions get the best of her, and she sent a voicemail threatening his life, going off, going crazy. And if you're a crash out, you get crash out consequences. And sometimes that includes losing custody of your kids, which we're saying this simply, but this is devastating to any mother who actually wants full custody, not out of revenge, but actually enjoys taking care of her children. And here's the other thing too, man. I remember in my conversation with Lauren, the lawyer, she was talking about how she wished a lot of men were honest with their attorneys. And I think a lot of men aren't honest because they think the more that they tell their attorneys, then the worse they may look, or they don't want to disclose certain things. They don't understand that the more your attorney knows, the more you know, the better you can defend yourself. I mean, how many men go through certain things that if they were to go to court, they would drastically change the dynamics between their baby mama or their ex-wife. And it's just because they don't know and they don't want to open up about what's really going on with an attorney and actually pursue that. If they can burden the financial responsibility, they would be in a less stressful situation long term. And I'm sure there are a lot of chicks out here who use AirTags and so on and so forth to track men. Somebody else who says she messed up in the first place, not following the order. I was raised by my father, so I'm a strong advocate for the fact that not all dads are bad and not all mothers are great. Too many court systems favor the mom, even if they are terrible mothers. Somebody else who says, I love it. Somebody else who says, never commit a second crime of threatening to commit a third crime because you got caught committing the first crime, especially when you're trying to keep your child. Here's somebody else who says she should have hid that AirTag better. And Lauren, the lawyer, responded back and says, that's the moral of the story, with the laughing emojis. Even she's looking at it like, come on, that can't be the moral of the story. Why not just stop from doing anything that may be illegal? Somebody else who says, don't have kids. That's my takeaway. Here's somebody else who says, we learned if you have Lauren, the lawyer, then you gonna be all right. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.